Hello, everyone. I just wanted to take some time to acknowledge something that you may have been seeing in the news, something that you might be worried about or might be even scared about, and that is the protests that are happening right now around the Black Lives Matter movement. And I wanted to acknowledge a few things and also just give us some things to think about, okay? So, the first thing I want to acknowledge is the fact that people are scared. I think it's a natural reaction, and if you're feeling scared, that's okay. We're going to try to unpack it so that maybe we start understanding it a little bit more and maybe feeling a little less scared. And I understand why people are scared. Even as I look around our own city, I honestly see things that kind of remind me of a scary movie, in particular, like The Purge. And this is because people are boarding up their businesses. And the truth is that people are trying to protect their property because they are afraid of what could happen to their businesses during the protests. And like I said, this is reasonable. But even so, some of these people are still voicing their support for the protesters. The truth is, people are angry. People are headed to the streets to protest, and they are demanding change. So let's start understanding why people are upset and why people are protesting. So last Monday, an unarmed African American named George Floyd was murdered at the hand of police. And people are really angry about this because it was a despicable act. And it's not the first time that it's happened. In fact, it has been an occurrence that's been all too common in our country's history. Some people are so angry that they feel motivated to destroy things, to get their point across to the whole world. And we are seeing our country's frustrations about what is happening just kind of build up and spill out into these protests. And I think we have to think about a couple of things as we are viewing this in the news, okay? So as eighth graders, having just studied the Civil War, we're in a position where we can understand how one issue can divide our country, as like slavery divided our country back then between the North and also the South. So after the Civil War, right, the country is completely destroyed. And when the war is over, as a country, we have to try to rebuild. All right, we have to heal the wounds of slavery, but the wounds of slavery are so deep that actually today we're still not even able to get over it. And there's like one thing that's like peculiar, and I want you to really remember. Because slavery built our country up and racism was at the heart of slavery, racism is still at the core of our systems of government, economy, and society. The anger that we are seeing is not just because of the killing of George Floyd, but also because it's anger that our country has been bottling up because we have not still been able to achieve true equality, right? And it makes a lot of us question the values of our government, right? Are they a lie? After all, like when we learned about the Declaration of Independence, didn't we talk about that all men are created equal? So why are we not being treated equally? I think many people are tired of not being treated equally. So I think that some people are feeling frustrated with those feelings and they want to fight back and say, if the law does not respect me, then why should I respect the law? I know that some of us might want to say that this is not okay, but I'm just going to share my opinion, all right? So as somebody who is not a black man, I cannot ever fully understand how it might feel to be a member of the black community right now. But I do have empathy and I do have respect, right? And I can relate in some ways. I can relate to being discriminated by police for who I am, right? And I understand how frustrating that is. And so now I can only imagine how these feelings would be even more magnified if on top of that, I also had to fear for my life whenever I had to interact with police. So when we are seeing the protesters, right, when we are seeing some of the destruction, let's try to understand the situation, right? Let's try to look at the situation with empathy and try to fix the problem at the core. So going forward, I do want to say that we need to feel like we have the power to change the world because in reality, we do. All right, and before we start off into the how, I do want to acknowledge a few things. I want to say that your class has been super strong having gone through so much over the last few months. You have endured COVID-19, distance learning, and now you are faced with this huge social issue that's been a part of our history for a long time, but it's like bubbling right now, right in front of your eyes. And as a teacher, I've questioned how it might even be possible for me to continue teaching and for you to continue learning as if nothing is happening, because in fact, so many things are happening right now. All right, we are possibly living through one of the most important times of our lives, and I don't want to minimize that. I do want to respect you and everything that you are going through. However, as I thought more deeply on the issue, I began to realize something. All right, I realized that I do need to continue teaching, and you all need to continue to learn. The reason is that as citizens who are living through these hard times, we need to be prepared. In particular, you need to be able to understand what is going on around you, right? You need to be prepared to understand how little things impact not only you, your community, but also your neighbors, your family members, and other communities around us. And we need to be ready to speak up and make change. And the way that we do this is that you need to be in the best universities in the country, sharing your stories, your experiences, and the experiences of those around you so people can understand what it is like to be you. You need to be in a position of power so that you can challenge the people who are trying to put others down. And you need to be educated so that no one can ever make you feel less than. Knowledge, empathy, and taking action is how we truly change the world. As you all head into the next chapter of your life, which is high school, understand that every homework assignment you turn in, every test that you ace, every class that you pass is a step to a better and more diverse world. So please, right, take that and run with it. Get motivated, because you can make a huge difference. Whatever you choose to do in life, do it with passion and compassion. The only way we can heal the wounds of slavery is acknowledge that they still exist and do something to change them. I don't have all the answers, but I encourage you to use what you have learned about in history class to go and find them yourself. That way, you can never be lied to. And as we begin to write the next chapters of our country's history, you can do so in a more equitable way.